Well, I'm glad you brought up Honky Tonk Man because one of the things we wanted to ask you about was the Ultimate Warrior was actually your replacement at the first SummerSlam, and he went on to infamously beat Honky Tonk Man for that IC title. Did you know that the plan all the time was that you were not going to be winning the IC title at SummerSlam, or did that change at some point and they decided to do something with Warrior?
Well, yeah, Warrior, made a big mess of things there, threw a tantrum. I don't know what happened. The plan was that I was getting the belt, period.
Really?
And then Warrior, blah, blah, blah. So they had to change the pay-per-view, and then I did a thing with Ron Bass and
right.
Try to salvage it. It wasn't good for me, and Honky was really upset because, promises were made. When I was going to beat Honky, then Honky and I are going to wrestle all around in main events. His return, trying to get the belt back for 6 months. You're talking about a lot of money. He dropped the belt to Warrior. Bam, that was it. He didn't wrestle Warrior again. So they took a lot of money out of his pocket, and he was not happy. I wasn't happy. It is what it is, though. So sometimes you just make the best of it. You put your head down, you keep on pushing, and keep on walking into the wind.
Yeah, wow. And, it's just such an interesting week for the Warrior. He's got the A&E documentary, a biography that just aired, and then we're going to have the Dark Side of the Ring here pretty soon. What was it like to work with the Ultimate Warrior from your perspective, Brutus?
Well, I didn't have to wrestle him, thank God. We were partners in the Survivor.
Yeah.
88. He wasn't a whole lot of very good wrestler per se. I mean, he had his character and he did his thing, and people liked it. He's a big, muscly guy, well-built guy, worked out like crazy and stuff. But I was just happy I didn't have to wrestle him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, while we're talking about SummerSlam here, it was a year later that you were teaming with Hogan up against Randy Savage and Zeus. How did it feel being in such a high-profile position there for such a big show for WWE at the time?
Well, it was actually well-deserved. I mean, they put me up in a position where I deserved to be because, I wrestled Hogan all over the country in sellout crowds every night of the week for 20, 30,000 people. So, doing a Survivor Series, doing the SummerSlam, and Zeus is a friend, and getting in there, taking Zeus into the ring, and then not doing just one pay-per-view. We did a second pay-per-view in December from Nashville in a cage. So taking this guy who's never been in the ring before, who's 6'9", weighs 325 pounds, 350 pounds, taking him in the ring and doing what we did with him and pulling it off without a single mistake, without anything going wrong, is a mitzvah, brother. It's a miracle. And
I love it.
I pat myself like, what was his name? Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz.
Pat himself on the back. I'm patting myself on the back because we pulled off the impossible.
Man, yeah, and it's crazy when I look at that group of people. It was just a couple years later, you guys were all in the Doomsday Cage match over at WCW Uncensored. I don't know if you recall the big triple cage with the.
I do. That was insane stuff there that night. Yeah.
Did you feel safe in that structure or no?
Not really. No. I was just glad to get out of there in one piece.
Good. How was it? Randy Savage is another name this past week that again with all the documentaries going around has really flared up. What was your relationship like with Randy? How was it for you to work with him?
Had tremendously good matches. Randy pretty much had the same relationship with everybody. He was very moody. I mean, one minute he was great and everything's fine, and the next minute, it was just the Randy Savage show. He was, and he was all over the map, and you just had to deal with it. He was, I wrestled Randy a lot, but we always had. I knew where he was coming from. He knew where I was coming from. We worked well in the ring together. Our matches were tremendous.
Yeah,
and that's what's important.
Did you ever observe the kind of obsessive behavior about protecting Elizabeth in the locker room? Was that anything you ever observed or no?
Well, yeah, I was around them all the time. Yeah, I saw lots of.
Tell them how they left Hawaii because you bent over.
Oh, that's my wife. Yeah, we were all on the beach.
Story.
Mr. Perfect, his wife, a bunch of us, and Beefcake was wearing his tee back, right? I had my tee back on, and bent over to get something, and the next thing you know, Randy was up and things were flying, and he was grabbing Liz and dragging her off the beach, and he said I bent over with my butt in Liz's face, which really didn't happen, but okay. And then got on a plane and left Hawaii because of my ass.
Wow. Well, thank you, Mrs. Beefcake, for setting that up. We appreciate you prodding Brutus about that.
Tell us about heard around the world with the Nasty Boys.
Well, yeah, the Nasty Boys were in London, and Sags blew out a big fart in the dressing room or wherever they were at, and then Randy took and put Elizabeth on an airplane and sent her home, and then Vince had to fly her back on the Concorde. And now, that was like $5 or $10 to do that, and so the Nasty Boys had to pay for it out of their money.
Oh,
they called it the fart heard around the world. Yeah.
Whoa.
Freaked out, put her on a plane, sent her home, but they obviously she had to be there at this Wembley show, this huge pay-per-view, and so then they had to fly her back on the Concorde. I flew on the Concorde too. It was pretty fun.
Wow, a $10,000 fart. I've never heard of such a thing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.